Hello, disciples of Dow Jones. I thought I'd make another video here today talking about an important concept, taking a break from the GameStop videos, and I do apologize for the noise in the background in a few of them. I realized one of my windows was open, and because I was making so many videos, I didn't go through and actually edit them. So one of these days I'll actually edit these videos, and they might be average quality, so that'll be exciting. But in the meantime, you have to deal with this, and I hope it suffices. But in this video, I want to talk about loss aversion. And the reason why I'm talking about loss aversion is because it's an important facet to recognize. It's a bias that lies within all of us, some more than others. And the earlier you are at spotting it and recognizing you have it, the sooner you can adjust to it and save money in the near term and also in the long term. So what loss aversion essentially is, it's an investor's dissatisfaction in losing money more than the pleasure of gaining money of the same amount. So for example, an investor is more upset if he or she loses $5 than he's happy or she's happy with gaining $5. That's what loss aversion means. And so when you talk about it from an investment standpoint, an example might be that an investor's stock is up 30%, and that investor decides to take profits, realizing profits too soon in some cases. On the other hand, the investor might also hold another stock that's down 40%, but that investor believes, it's not time to cut losses yet. He's going to let it ride a little bit longer. Again, these are just generic examples, but the point is that the investor capped his or her ceiling at $30, but allowed the stock to fall, let's say, to $40. So when you think about a dynamic like that, when you think about an investor who's cutting their gains too soon, but allowing the losers to ride, what essentially is happening is that the range in which the investor will take profits or lose money is not equal. And not only is it not equal, but it's skewed to the downside. So an investor who cuts profits at $30 or up 30%, but lets it ride down to down 40%, it's skewed to the downside. That's not a good trading strategy to have. Now, sure, there's examples where you might want to cut profits early because you recognize the return sooner than you thought. You might want to let stock, ride down a little bit further. You want to dollar cost average into it. And there's, again, it's very situational, but in general, if you're set up to where you're cutting your gains too soon but letting your losers ride too long, you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, like I said, again, this bias is within everybody. Some, that range might not exist at all. Some, the range might be very tight, and some, that range might be very skewed to the downside. What's important, and the exercise that I want you to try out, is to look at your previous transaction history, maybe going back 1 or 2 years, further if you would like, and look at times where you cut losses or you cut gains too soon, but you let losses ride for too long. Why? And ask yourself, why did that happen? Was I too afraid, right, that I was going to lose the gain I had, so I wanted to lock it in? Or was I, on the upside, but also on the downside, was I too afraid to sell and admit to myself that, hey, I'm taking a loss here. If I hold on to it, maybe it'll come back up and I can, have only a 20% loss rather than a currently 40% loss. So again, this is what I want to talk about with you today, is loss aversion, because again, that bias exists within all of us, some more than others. And the goal is not to eliminate this bias, right? The goal is to recognize that it exists within us and to, adapt and reflect on it. And so when we make decisions, we must recognize that, hey, okay, maybe I have some strong loss aversion bias within me. I need to make sure that I set up proper procedures before going into a trade so I don't get caught in this situation where I'm holding on to losers for far too long out of just pure fear, out of pure emotion, that I don't want to recognize this loss. So this is a concept that, again, is rarely talked about in my opinion, and it's a very important It's a very important idea, facet to recognize. So rambling aside, I thought I'd share that video. Please reach out in the comments or to me personally if you have any questions or would like to see examples of loss aversion. But like I said, go through your transaction history and see if you can find examples of where this might take place, where you cut winners too soon because you just wanted to lock in those gains and you're afraid the stock would fall back down, or whether you let losers ride too long because you didn't want to, admit to yourself that, hey, I let the stock fall 50%. I'm hoping it goes back, to at least, down 30%. And then I don't mind taking that loss as much. Again, you're not buying or selling based off, fundamentals or rational decision making. You're buying or selling based off, again, your bias, your loss aversion. So thanks for watching. Hopefully the video wasn't as loud, and I'll see you probably very soon.